Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Johanna and welcome to my cozy book space. So for today's reading vlog, I wanted to do a new releases / anticipated releases reading vlog. The books that I'm going to be reading in this vlog: Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton, Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, and Bride by Ali Hazelwood. If you guys want to hear my thoughts and reviews on these new releases, then go ahead and keep on watching. Hi friends, so I'm here with a quick little update on Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I'm actually only on chapter 3. As you guys saw, I'm kind of annotating this slowly but surely. I decided to go with like some darker red tabs, and as you guys saw, I set up for this to be the hero's thoughts, and then these like reddish ones are gonna be just scenes that I love, quotes that I love, etc. With romances, I don't really annotate anything specific like my fantasy romances. I wanted to give you guys a brief synopsis as well as kind of give you guys some of my thoughts because I have thoughts, okay? So we have our main heroine, Misery Lark. She is a vampire, and we have our hero, Lo Moreland. He is a werewolf. They are set to be in an arranged marriage to unite the vampires and the werewolves. The vampires and the werewolves have been good in the past, except the last time that a vampire and a werewolf married, it was like this war, this bloodshed called the Aster. Also, vampire blood is purple and werewolf blood is green, which I find very interesting. I do find the overall world building interesting. It's different, kind of modern, different but good, but also kind of thrown off by it. Because it's just so different than any other vampire romance or werewolf romance that I've ever read, but I'm enjoying it. We basically have Misery. She is her personality I really enjoy. I think she's funny. She has like this dry humor. She's very sarcastic. We don't really have much of the hero as of yet. We just know that he's handsome, has a buzz cut, he's very tall, very big, and very dangerous, or so we're told. I will also say I have a tab for our hero Lo specifically because this book is only in Misery's point of view, but we do have a little bit of the hero's thoughts, etc. at the beginning of every chapter, as you can see. So whenever I read one that I really like, I will be tabbing it with his own specific color. What else did I want to say about this book? There are some archaic practices going on, like with the whole collateral thing, especially like with the humans, the vampires, and the werewolves. They all seem very separate from each other, except that the vampires used to have like this collateral thing before this new election that is happening, where the humans would send a human child to the vampires, and the vampires would send a vampire child to the humans, and they would hold them hostage. And if the humans or the vampires ever like did something to break this pact, they would immediately kill these children. So that That is so crazy to me. And Misery was once upon a time one of those children. And while she was in this human household, she grew really close to this character named Serena Paris. And I just want to know what the whole deal with that is. Like, I'm kind of annoyed by it for some reason. Like, it's rubbing me the wrong way. I don't know why. Probably because I don't know why the Serena person is so important and where she went. Because she feels like a character that kind of left Misery behind on purpose. Or at least that's the vibe that I'm getting. And then we have this whole other situation with our hero supposedly having a different mate. But we know that he doesn't because Misery is his mate. But like, they were talking in this scene about how the vampires and the werewolves, when they're set to like get arranged marriage, they're joining in this marriage because a new governor person got elected for the humans, and she no longer wants to do the collateral pact with the vampires. And so the vampires, to gain more power for the good of vampires, in this hierarchy, I feel like the vampires are on the lowest tier, kind of maybe in the middle. They're just less, there's just less vampires, and vampires have a really hard time reproducing, so they kind of have to be in good with the humans or be in good with the werewolves, because if a war would break out, they'd be the first ones to die, if that makes sense. So because of this wedding, Misery is like the collateral. She's going to be staying for a year with the werewolves, and supposedly the werewolves have given somebody of importance to the vampires. It was being heard, or Misery heard a conversation happening, or was told that the alpha's mate was the collateral for the vampires to have. And I'm like, okay, but he can't have a mate because Misery is the mate. So that's throwing me off. Also, the part where I just stopped at, which is literally chapter 3, like I'm not even that far in. There's been a lot of information given, but I'm also very much entertained because it's in Misery's point of view. When they're married and they're at their marriage ceremony, we haven't gotten much from the hero. Like, we've gotten something from the hero. This is gonna be slow burn. I don't know why I'm like low-key, like I'm low-key hating this because of what he says after their first dance, because they do kind of have a moment. He seems very rude to her, and I'm like, and then he says to Misery, for the next year, let's make sure to stay out of each other's way. Understood? And I'm like, no, because I want the forced proximity that this arranged marriage is supposed to give me. Like, you're supposed to want to be in her space. You're supposed to want to be around her because she's your true mate, right? But anyways, those are my thoughts as of now. Probably will do a whole 180 once I'm further into the book. I'm really contemplating getting the ebook because I really want to take off my makeup and lay down and continue reading this. I want to read a good chunk, but since I'm kind of reading it physically, can't do that. So I'm like forcing myself to stay up, but it's already 8:47 and I'm tired because I was up at 6 this morning. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go now. I'm going to actually take my makeup off and get ready for bed, and I will give you guys another update tomorrow when I read some more. Guys, I finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Don't mind me and my appearance. I literally look crusty, musty, and dusty. I am all three. Maybe TMI, but I woke up this morning and I got my period, and then the cramps started settling in, and I was like, you know what? I'm not having a good time. And so I didn't do anything today. I was supposed to do a lot today. I have a pimple on my face. No wonder, because I usually break out when I'm about to get my period or when I'm on my period. Went to my mom's, I sat on her couch, and I read the entirety of this book. No regrets. No regrets. I loved this book. I did. I'm trying to think about what I want my rating to be, but I don't think that I could give it anything less than a 5-star. because it was so good. Like the characters, the plot. Like I feel like in my last update, I was Miss Debbie Downer. Like I was kind of talking shit about this book. But like the whole best friend thing, her name's Serena, like I understand now and where that went with the plot, as well as the other mate side thing happening. You guys, I was also like not expecting the plot twist that we got. It was so good. I am just so impressed. And as you can see by my tabs, I loved it. I did. As you can see, I also did tab the spicy scenes, which yes, sir. I just love a man who speaks. Literally no thoughts in my brain right now. I'm slightly delusional. Yeah, I loved Misery. She was so fun. I loved being in her head. I loved being in her point of view. Do I wish that we had more of Lo's POV than what we had gotten? Yes, but you know, I'm satisfied towards the end of this book. The smut was everything that I wanted it to be. The romance was everything that I wanted it to be. The slow buildup of this romance was just utter perfection. This is definitely a slow burn, but once it gets there, Ali Hazelwood don't hold back. Okay, and I know people were saying like this could possibly be a megaverse, but I don't think so. He's just the alpha of his pack. Like he's just an alpha. He's a werewolf. Yes, there is nodding, which was amazing. I will say I loved it. It was so good. It was so good, you guys. I literally binge read this. Like this is all I did today. It is currently like 10 p.m. and I went to my mom's at like 8. I mean, I did things throughout. I loved Serena. I loved Anna. I loved Lo. I thought it was funny, especially with like Alex and the whole vampire and werewolf stereotypes. I did not see the betrayal coming, I will say. I loved the enemy territory library scene, office scene. It's just so good. And also like Ali Hazelwood's writing, the way that she writes these moments between Lo and Misery is like so... I can't find the word. I'm literally speechless. I'm just saying like her writing has gotten so much better than what I remember it being, and like I just felt every single word in this book and I loved it so much. I will say we did not get a lot of like the characters shifted into wolves, so if you're expecting that, there's that. They're just more like, they do shift. And we do get to see Lo as a wolf. We get to see other wolves. You know what? She did not disappoint. And I think that also the plot, the characters, and the world that she built is very, very interesting. I do want to know more about Owen, Misery's brother. He was very much a character. And I want to see where like maybe him getting a romance. Last thing I will say, that the ending, the epilogue, we kind of get who might possibly get the next book. It is Lo's friend slash father figure werewolf. His name is Cohen, with Misery's best friend Serena. When I read that scene, if you know, you know, I was like, oh, period. I'm ready. I already need that book in my hands. Ali, I'm gonna need you to like give me that. Like right now. I definitely recommend to read. This is just something so different by Ali, and I think that if you're kind of bored from her STEMinist novels, that this is definitely going to be a great palate cleanser in between those. Honestly, I can't wait to read more of her other book because I've been putting it off for some reason, and then she came out with this paranormal one and I just had to read it because I'm a paranormal girly. I love everything that paranormal consists of. I just loved it. I loved it. I just had the best time. So 5 stars, definitely. I think I'm going to end up reading Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey next. So we'll choose my tabs together. And hopefully I don't run out of tabs because it was tragic when I was running out of tabs while I was reading Bride. Enough said. I will talk to you guys tomorrow when I start Fangirl Down. Hi friends, I'm here to do an update. I'm so sorry about the noise. You guys know that my neighbors are loud as hell. I'm so sorry. And don't be mad at me. Don't be mad. Okay. I did start Fangirl Down and I'm almost done, you guys. I literally only have this much left. I know. I literally put it down right before I finished it because I was like, wow, I ate this book up. I binged it. Were we surprised? It is Miss Tessa Bailey. It is Miss Tessa Bailey. And I just be eating it up. As you guys see, I did choose my tabs. Kind of chose literally green, yellow, and pink. Pink is the spicy scenes, which are spicy. Okay, they're kind of cute. I like that they match the cover, but you can like barely see them. I mean, you can see them kind of like there. But I wanted to give you guys a synopsis before I give you guys my final review, because there won't be any like in between. So we have our main hero Wells, and we have our heroine Josephine. So Josephine is Wells' biggest fan. They've known each other for a couple years because Josephine has gone to every single like Florida golf game that Wells has been in. He is a professional golfer and he's really good. At least he was at the beginning of his career, and now he's kind of going downhill. He really sucks. He has a bad attitude. He has a bad rep in the entertainment space, social media space, and he's just been going downhill because Josephine is his biggest fan. She has yet to miss any of his games, and she's realized that he's kind of been out of it, you know, like his heart is not in it, but she still keeps showing up and rooting for him. And she ends up joining this contest because she wants to win this dinner with Wells. She ends up winning, and so she's at this tournament watching him play, and then after the game they were gonna have this lunch. But after he hits and like misses terribly again, he is just so over it, and he is hating seeing Josephine in the sidelines cheering him on, because he's like, why is she cheering me on? Like, I literally suck. Like, she is my only fan. She is it, and she is still here, and he's just tired of kind of disappointing her. And so he goes up to her, and they automatically already have like this banter because they've seen each other before. They know each other. She is his biggest fan, so like he knows of her. He hears her like on the sidelines, and they have like this banter back and forth, which I loved. And he tells her like he's done, like he's done playing golf. She's like, absolutely not, like stop it, like, you know, you're not gonna get back in there. And he's like, no, like I'm serious, I'm done, like you need to like give it up, like give up on me, like stop, like just stop. And he like takes her sign and tears it up, and she is just left there heartbroken. He leaves. And then the next day he just can't take his mind off of her and the fact that he did that to her and really hurt her and just left her standing there. And there was a hurricane in Florida where Josephine lives, and he's thinking about her and he's worried about her. He's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go check on her. So he pulls up to her shop that she owns. So she is actually taking over this golf pro shop that her parents have passed down to her, and she is looking through the wreckage that this hurricane did to this pro shop, and she doesn't have any insurance because the insurance on the back burner because she is a diabetic. She's a type 1 diabetic. I love that aspect in this book, and I love the representation. I think it's done very well, but again, I don't have type 1 diabetes, so I really can't say, but I do love what I've seen so far in here. And so she's put that kind of on the back burner as well. She's kind of struggling with money. Then Wells pulls up and sees this wreckage, and then they kind of do this deal. But she doesn't want to be a charity case, so she kind of has to offer something in return. And so Wells is like, if I get back in this tournament, then you can be my caddy. And a caddy essentially is the person that drives the golf cart and has like the clubs and like kind of coaches the golfing during the games. So she's like, okay, I'll be your caddy, and then I'll get this money and I'll be able to like rebuild this shop. This is the bargain that they end up having, and it is so good, you guys. Wells is literally the grumpiest of grumps, okay? So grumpy, but the things that he does and the things that he says are just so funny sometimes. I always laugh out loud with Tessa Bailey books, and this is no different. I just be eating it up and giggling and screaming and just kind of dying internally. That's how I have been feeling the entirety of this book. The forced proximity aspect is amazing. The characters are always together. I love the main heroine. She is just strong and independent, and of course her independency kind of overflows unnecessarily, but the hero is always there, and he is there for her so much, and like in the little things. Like again, like she is a type 1 diabetic, and when he learns of this, he doesn't make her feel weak or unable to be a caddy. She is so grateful for that from him, that he doesn't treat her any differently. Then he proceeds to like start to learn more about diabetes and like what he can do to be there for her, like on the low, and it is so cute, you guys. She is giving him advice on golf and just kind of re-sparking that love for him. And we also learn a lot about Wells's background and how he was kind of like a bad kid growing up. He did a lot of bad things. Then golf came into his life, and it was just something that he was really good at, and he loved it, and he kind of just lost that love for it along the way. But Josephine is definitely there to show him the way, and I've just been loving the whole process. The sexual tension in here is done so well. And then these spicy scenes, there is just something about Tessa Bailey's spicy scenes that I don't know how she does it. Like, it's so different from any other smut that I've read, but it hits, you know? It hits every single time. The mouth on this man, girl, I will blush. It's just amazing, and Josephine is amazing, and I love them both, and they are perfect for each other. And I'm kind of, you know, almost done with it. There hasn't been a third act breakup. They have had to like take a little break from each other, which I thought was very understandable, especially because there are breaks in the golfing, so she can't be his caddy forever. She has to kind of go back to her shop and get the renovation started. And there's this scene where he like literally speeds drives his Ferrari, zooms to her apartment. Oh my god, this man is on his knees for this woman, and I love to see it. It is just so good. And I'm at the part where we kind of have this, I wouldn't call it a third act breakup. I think it's just something that happens in a lot of relationships. It's just so realistic. And that's something that I love about Tessa Bailey's romance books, is that the third act breakups, you know, I put that in quotes because for me they're not really third act breakups, but like they're just realistic problems that any couple would have. Josephine is just so loyal to Wells that it's becoming a detriment to the relationship, and Wells just loves her too much to let her continue to kind of put herself second. Like, she should always be first. This is kind of the issue that they're in the middle of. That's right where I stopped. So I'm so excited to go back in and finish this book and see how they resolve it and see more of their love just on page before it's over. Sad face. But yeah, definitely wanted to give you guys this update. I will be back to give you guys my final thoughts and review. Hi friends. Oh my god. The echo on the balcony is horrendous, and it's right as hell. I did not plan this very well, as you can see, but this was kind of the only time that I have right now to update this new releases reading vlog, which I have left on the back burner ever since I found out that I was going to be going on vacation. And I'm currently on vacation. I am going to insert a clip of what my view is right now, and it is just stunning. I am so grateful to be here. I love it here. I am no longer depressed. No, but I don't even remember what the last update I had given you guys was before the whole chaos of packing and traveling ensued. So I think I left off on my update with Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, and I did end up finishing that. I took a picture of the last couple of pages that I had to read for that book, and I read it on my phone that way because I wanted to finish it. And so I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really, really loved it. I thought it was so cute. It was so hot. I love Wes. Was that his name? Me not remembering the hero's name. Oh no, not Wes. Wells. I loved Wells, and I loved Josephine. Was that her name? Me not remembering. I'm so sorry. I love that book regardless. I think the last update I gave you guys was very in-depth, so the fact that I'm just giving you this rating and telling you guys that I loved it, you know, it's good enough. The next book that I wanted to read for this new releases reading vlog was Where's Molly by H.G. Carlton. I started it one night before bed, and then I finished it the next night before bed. And I was so shook. I was like, wow, this is flying by. How long is this book? And this book is less than 300 pages. I did not know that. It's giving novella. The basic synopsis is that we have our main heroine, Molly. We do get to meet her in the cat and mouse duet, and she is the girl that was able to run away from the house of horrors, if you will. And she has made a life for herself. And she meets this man named Cage, and I will say from the jump, I do love him. And I do love Molly as well. She has been through so much, and she has grown through it. And she has this love and loyalty for her younger sister that plays a really big part in this book. But Molly escapes. She goes looking for her sister. She kills her father. So rightfully so. I was literally clapping my hands after she, you know, did what she had to do. And she takes her sister, and then she's living with her sister for a couple of months, I think, or maybe almost a year, when she realizes that she's not able to provide the best life for her sister. So she ends up like scouting a family, making sure that they're good, a happy family, a safe family. and she ends up leaving her younger sister on their doorstep. And then she is working jobs, trying to get money to like survive herself. She is in this bad situation, and she's just not trying to have her identity out there. And so she's kind of getting really sketchy jobs with really sketchy business owners and like bosses. She gets into a dilemma, and she ends up leaving this job. Like, she knew that if she didn't leave, she was gonna have a bad encounter. There is this organization called Legion, and the person that works for Legion sees her leave this job, sees this interaction, and then proceeds to leave his card with his number at her door. She calls this number. She's told that she could just go to this address and get a new identity so she can start her life over again. She does just that, and she goes to this TV selling store, which is really just a front for a new identity business that our hero Cage runs. This is where they first meet. They have this really like whirlwind first encounter. This is like the first time that Molly is able to be her own self and her own like woman, and able to be with someone where she is like consenting. Yeah, they have this interaction, but he still gives her this new identity, and she moves to Alaska, and I think it's about 5 years. I don't know, it's not quite a few years, but she ends up coming back, and Cage ends up finding out that she's back and that she's been back for a while. And the minute that he finds out that she's back, he's like, oh, I'm not letting her go again. So this ensues their like back and forth cat and mouse, if you will, game where Cage tries to keep her for himself. And overall, I really loved it. I loved the relationship. I loved how dedicated our hero was to our heroine, especially because she deserved something good. Cage was good for her, and I loved the overall plot. I loved seeing little snippets from the cat and mouse duet, and we do get like an epilogue where we get to see Zayd and Addie, which was nice. There was something towards the end of this book where it was like breakthrough chapter 19, or like breakthrough something. So if you know what that means, then like let me know for sure. Otherwise, yeah, I was just confused, but I just kind of kept on reading and it was fine. And yeah, we got these other snippets, which I'm guessing would be for like future books, but I was also confused by that. And I also do feel like the ending was wrapped up really quickly. So overall, I gave it 4 stars. I did love it for the relationship, and like I just love Cage so much. So I gave it 4 stars for overall, but it was lacking in some parts, and I was confused in some parts. I will say my theories are obviously that Zayd from the Cat and Mouse duet, his organization is called C, but my thought process, my theory is that Legion is Civi's organization, just because of the way that some of the things that were said and some of the things that Legion does. Put it in my head, so I think that's what it is. And of course, we'll find out more when we get Civi's duet. But I loved being back in the same world as Zayd and Addie, and I loved seeing Molly get her HEA. So overall, I really loved it. So that is going to be the end of this Releases reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I know it took me a minute to film. I'm in a whole other country, girl. But I had so much fun, and I wanted to update you guys and end this video while I'm here. Because I did finish both of those books recently. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you're going to be reading any of these books, or if you have already. And if you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and leave me a skull emoji down below in the comments for Where's Molly. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.